Hey everybody, it's Zori from OneScales. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about font optimization for speed optimization for making your website faster, better user experience, getting a better Google PageSpeed Insights score, obviously doing better for your SEO, and making a faster, better website is always better. In addition to the things we talked about in our series and other people know, image optimization using a CDN, compressing things, all these other things we talked about, which we'll link in our comments. One thing you can do is font optimization. This video is one of the more technical videos. We're not going to go too crazy, but it definitely is a little more technical than most of our other videos for speed optimization. So if you're not sure, it's still good to follow, but you can always give it to a developer. And these things are basic, but they have a little bit of code. So I want to explain to you the best practices based on Google's things, and I'm going to skip some things that we feel are not the most important one. I'm going to go over the most important ones in this document and show you what you can consider to do. Okay, so let's scroll down first of all. So very, very simply put, when you load a page, for example, this page right here, this is a demo site we've made for a lot of our videos. It actually has a font, right? It's downloading a font. It might have multiple fonts and multiple styles. So a font might have a specific font, and a style might be bold, extra bold, italic, things like that. So different fonts have different styles, and sometimes you have to download more than one file in order to actually get what you want, right? So most of the fonts that people use are not the OS fonts, right? The ones that come with Windows and Mac, etc. They actually download them from, for example, Google Fonts or other, and actually load them, and it takes time to load, takes time to actually load and show on the page, and this slows down your website and it makes a worse page speed insight score. So let's talk about some of the things you can do. Okay, so the first thing you can do is make sure that you can just have less fonts. So a lot of you like to have multiple fonts and multiple styles, for example, bold, extra bold, thin, all that kind of stuff. So if you actually have less fonts, then it'll actually load faster. So that's one very, very simple thing, right? When you actually download the fonts, let me, most of the time you guys, a lot of websites use external fonts, for example, Google Fonts, and you actually have to download it from the Google servers, and sometimes Google servers are slower, faster, they kind of change. One thing you can do, for example, and let me show you here, Roboto, for example, and there's 12 styles. You see thin, 100, thin. Each one of these, if you actually want some of your content, some of your text to be in thin 100 and some in a light 300, it'll actually download another file. So you can have actually less. But what you can do is, in addition, is you can actually get the font. You can either get the font by just embedding it, which most people do, or you can download it, upload it to your site, and actually have your site and your server provide it to the browser. On paper, most of the time when you download it on your computer and then put it on your server, it could be faster. So most of the time it's a little bit faster and it's a little bit more consistent, because if Google Fonts is down or slow, you don't have to worry about them. You only worry about your own server. So you should experiment with it and try sometimes to do the embed code and just embedding it, and sometimes actually downloading it to your server. You should do that. In general, I like to do downloading to server more, but that's up to you. You should experiment with that. So that's the second thing I want to talk about. Okay. The next thing you can do is you can actually specify to pre-connect. So pre-connect for the font. So let's say you actually go ahead and you don't want to put the font on your server. You want to use Google Fonts, for example. You should actually specify, hey, I want you to pre-connect to google.com or fonts.google.com, so you can actually get the font a little bit faster. So pre-connect, prepare the connection to be able to download it when the CSS asks for it. So this will help speed up things a little bit more. If you have it on your own site, then no problem. You don't need to pre-connect. But if you actually use a different hosting, for example, GitHub or Google Fonts or stuff like that, you should actually pre-connect. Okay. So next one, as we talked about using self-hosted fonts, you put it on your own server. Next one is when you actually get fonts, you can actually, there's different file names or different types of fonts. Just like for images, there's JPEG and PNG. There's different ones. In general, the WAF2 is the newest and best one, and it has the best compression. So typically it'll download and actually show on your website a little bit faster than others. So if there's a WAF2, you should try to use that as best as you can. Okay, we talked about having less fonts and less styles. Obviously, we talked about that. We talked about using less fonts. Yes, all that stuff. Okay, the next one, and this is the final one, font display. So when a page loads, it'll actually load, and it takes a little time for the font to download and then to display. So what you can do is you can specify a tag called font display equals swap. And when you do that, it'll actually not block the loading of the page. It won't wait to show the text, the words on the page. It will not wait until the font is downloaded. It'll show whatever default it is for my browser. For example, I'm using my Mac. It'll show whatever default one. And as soon as it downloads, it'll swap it out. But it won't delay. It won't not show the text. If you don't have a swap, you won't see anything until the font is downloaded, and then it'll show it. So right here, you have a table right here, but swap is the best one to do always. And you should actually use swap always, no matter what, if you have an external font, which most websites have. Okay, that's basically it. Those are kind of the tips that we have. There's a few things about font optimization. Most of it's really for developer, but it's good for you guys to understand. Give it to developer, engineer. And as always, if you have any questions, you want to go in more detail, you have a specific case, you're not sure what to do, ask us. We're always here to help in all speed optimization related things and everything we cover at OneScales. And as always, we'll also link all the other speed optimization videos. We have a playlist, we have a series, image optimization, lazy load, CDN, compressions, low-hanging fruit. We have all kinds of videos about it. We'll link everything you can actually reference. If you did like this video in any way, let us know. Say hi. Tell us what you like, what you didn't. It means a lot to us. Obviously, subscribe, like, share. It helps us a lot growing, helps us get feedback from you guys. We really appreciate it. Share with a friend, with a parent, with a sibling, with a colleague, with everybody. We really want to get this spreading. And we're doing this. We're trying to make this as best as we can, full time, with your guys' feedback. If you guys like it, we're going to do more and more. That's it. Very simply put. Thank you guys. Much, much appreciated.